Impervious.
Oh man. Play order. Oh man. So all these get taken.
Hey everyone, this is Curb and I bring you another fight replay video. Today we are once again going to be looking at another one of my very, very special brews. And it's going to be going up against Zorga on the right. But what's more interesting here is that currently I'm having Deck Tester Orion test out my Plant Siren deck. As you're going to see in this video, I kind of just want to post this just to showcase what the deck is capable of. And unironically, I do think that this might be like one of the best versions of the deck. Don't quote me on that. I don't think that the build that I have right now is currently perfect. But as you'll be seeing, the Argo Sirens definitely do benefit a lot from just like having a very small plant engine like jammed into their normal playstyle. And we'll see a bunch of cards that actually benefit a lot from that, especially including the new card that was just released in the latest set 10, I believe. So anyways, I've never really cast Argo Sirens because nobody really wants to play this deck. And of course, you know, if I'm going to be playing a deck or making my deck tester play a deck, I will not build it normally. I have to do something special. Anyways, riding up into the grade 1, it allows you to search out a tiding card. We're actually going to be searching out the grade 1 tiding card. Now, normally in an Argo Siren deck, you usually just play it for turn. But instead, we're going to be using our soul on a Harvest Elf. Soul blasting the 1 in order to call a plant token here. Now, this is where just the fun begins, as we're going to be seeing a couple more cards being played this turn on our very first turn. Alright, so we are going to be playing the new double rare from this set, who actually does have 5k base power. So when we call out the Harvest Elf, we can play Blessing to the Flower Buds and give the entire rear guards, all the rear guards, an extra 10k, making 2 casual 30k columns here on turn 1. So we're going to go ahead and swing with the Argo Siren first. Definitely makes sense because that's one your opponent is most likely to take. And then, of course, the other effect of Blessing allows you to actually bounce back the Argo Siren back to your hand, so you're not actually losing any advantage, and you still have the ability to use the other skill, which will only activate when you do discard it. So, you know, just like a little bit of random extra synergy there. As we're going to push 2 damage with that other Harvest Elf column. I think we're just deciding, do we want to use the Harvest Elf there? We're going to go ahead and opt to do that. Putting the plant token into the drop zone by accident to just draw another card. I mean, Harvest Elf as a card itself is a decent card. It's definitely not as good as I think people give it credit for. Unless you're a deck like Zorga that can like constantly revive it and you need your board like cleared. But as we, in general, as a card, it's just a solid card, like especially in the early game, and especially for decks that just, you know, kind of already want to be rushing, it does a very decent job. Anyways, passing over the Zorga, there's going to be riding up, I believe they mills, like an order, as you play the Dim Darkness here, checking top 3, just milling an order there. I think it was OT, PG, and then just that order. You do actually have to mill something, so obviously like your best bet was either the PG or the order. But we're going to just call something back, and looks like we're going to be calling back that Harvest Elf that we discarded for Ride Line. And then that is technically going to allow us to revive the RPD here. Now this opponent is doing something a little interesting. They went for an extra crit, which is definitely a choice. I don't think I've ever seen like a Zorga player honestly do that, especially with only like a 5k booster. I mean, at this point in the game, the number doesn't really matter, but like if we're an 8k, at least it'd be hitting for 13, which is 10k guard. But anyways, we're calling Shadow Cloak here, and we are going to be milling an order. Looks like we're kind of just deciding what we want to mill. This Caliburn, looks like we're just gonna go ahead and pitch a Caliburn. I guess another interesting choice. One of the benefits of Shadow Cloak, and I have said this before, is that he was printed in before Regallus pieces, meaning that he doesn't really have any restrictions when it comes to, you know, milling them, which is especially good with a card like Fire Regallus. So we're just going to swing Vanguard here. Looks like we don't have a 15k shield, so we're just going to take that. Not getting anything off the drive check. This 10k RPD damage for 2 is going to be pretty easy to guard. Just going to throw it on a 5k draw trigger there. But the Shadow Cloak is at least hitting for 15 as we retire the column and just draw another card. So like as you can see, like yeah, you called the Harvest Elf, but you still only have 5 cards in hand. Because, like, Harvest Elf is not really a plus because you're minusing 2 from board to get +1 in hand. Like, yeah, it's good, but, like, at the same time, you're like, losing board. And if you're a deck that can't, like, afford to, like, create a lot of board very easily, then it's just, like, kind of neg sometimes. But anyways, riding to the grade 2 is going to allow us to just add back or add another copy of the grade 1. You saw that we did end up pitching the Garlic there. That is another one of my spicy techs. Personally, I don't think it's actually that good in the deck, but it does actually unironically have a lot of synergy. What you ideally would want to do is like have 3 plant tokens and then have a Garlic boost a plant token. And then if you use the Argo Siren, the grade 1, if you bind it off of the main grade 3 skill, it restands a rear guard. It doesn't matter what rear guard, it's not restricted to Tear Dragon, it's not restricted to Argo Sirens, it's just any rear guard. So you just restand the plant token, and then Garlic sees that and he restands himself. So you just end up with a free 28k column, which can go up to 33 if you do have 2 different names thanks to the Argo Sirens, and that's just a column that's swinging twice here. So we are actually going to be using the Straight Scale Dragon, another new card from the latest set. Basically just a Yugama shot here. EV3, pitch in order, draw 2 cards. Very solid, just like an overall amazing card. So it looks like we're not really going to be able to fill that other column, so we're just going to be calling a the new grade 1 there. And we're going to play the grade 1 Tiding because it looks like we don't have anything else to play. I think we might have forgotten to Soul Blast, but it's not really going to matter, as you'll see in a little bit. We're going to check the top 7. The one issue with playing fewer quantities of both Tidings and Argo Sirens is that you are more likely to whiff off of this, the grade 1 Tiding, which is deeply unfortunate because I think Argo Sirens as a deck really relies on you basically being able to hit everything. Because the entire deck, like most Stoicheia decks, are basically just built around 1-for-1s. So you give up 1 card from hand for the Tiding, and then you get 1 on board. You play the grade 3, you -1 from hand, but you get +1 to board. That's kind of just how all Stoicheia decks kind of function. So we're actually going to go ahead and swing here with the grade 3. The grade 3 is also just a fantastic attacker. It goes from 15 to 25 if you restand it. But as we're going to see here, it's not really going to matter too much as we're going to go ahead and swing both of these columns and just ping 2 free damage there. And Zorga is over here with 4 cards in hand, so things are not really looking that great. If we just pass if we just pass after this turn, it's not really looking good for us for us to survive. Being at 4 damage, you're going to be staring down potentially 5 attacks. 5 attacks because as long as we can just discard a card, we can put that the other Tiding that we discarded into the order zone, and then we can bind both of them since our opponent is on grade 3. So we just restand both of our columns, or if we do find the grade 3, we can also restand the Vanguard. But that's definitely not something you want to be facing down when you're at 4 damage, especially if you have so few cards in hand. But speaking of the Harvest Elf yet again, we're going to be binding calling 2. They do get an extra 5k, so they're not that weak. They're at least 10k. I mean, normally you would be like 10k anyway, but that's only when your opponent is on grade 3. But obviously calling them here makes them scale very, very nicely. As we are going to be actually alchemagicking with that, whatever it is, a CB1, draw 1, scry 1, with a Caliburn, which is interesting, I guess. Just draw 3 cards, check the top card. We're going to use Philander here, checking the top 5, just milling a Shadow Cloak there. And then just going to shuffle it up. So we've got some threatening columns here. I believe these RPDs are 10, or plus 10, obviously, since you did Alchemagic. So 15 plus a 10k booster makes 25. Really nasty number going into a grade 2 here. But, so long as we're able to, just tank this turn, we do have the 2 damage, so we're not realistically too worried about, living this turn. As long as you can, block an RPD, you can probably just safely take the Vanguard here. But unfortunately, the first check is going to be an over trigger, which is not only going to make the Vanguard swing 2 damage, but, that's also going to heal, which kind of takes away our kill potential for next turn. And, also lets them draw 2 cards, which further takes away the kill potential. But unfortunately, Orion is not going to be having a PG, so unfortunately that is going to be the end of the match. Very disappointing, and I'm definitely going to try and showcase this deck again in the future. But I just wanted to get a quick video out to show what the deck can do. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one.